Hello, Gamers Global.
Randy, it's a pleasure meeting you
Yeah, thank you.
with a game that a magazine of mine did reports about, I think really like 10 or 11 years ago.
It doesn't surprise me.
It was fun in the beginning and it turned sour
Yeah.
after a while.
Yeah, I was right there with you, man.
Yeah,
Just like you on the outside. Just I want the game. Where is it? Yeah.
So, of course, now that it's finally here, everybody asks one question. How can it be that one developer, 3D Realms, has worked on the title for years and years, I think 12 years if you count in everything, and then this one company goes broke and has to lay off all its people, and it's a big disappointment for everybody involved. And half a year later, Gearbox turns up and finally has the game. So what did happen? Didn't 3D Realms want to publish it? Was there not enough money in the end? What was the reason?
It's actually been a year and a half. It was May of 2009 when we got the bad news, and I mean, what we figured out was first we figured out we could help, and that we wanted to help, and that we were in a unique position to help, and we were motivated. Then George and Scott, the guys that own 3D Realms, they kind of thought about, okay, how can these guys help? And they were in a tough spot. They didn't have enough money to finish the game on their own. They found themselves in a spot where no one would take a risk on them. No one would invest in them. I felt like they had a good thing going. They'd started to figure things out, and they were actually in a very good spot, but no one would bet on them. And so they found themselves in a spot where they had these lawsuits. There was lawsuits going on, and that was a very difficult kind of pressure.
And it takes time away from those people actually making the decisions.
Yeah, I think they decided to burn it down. That's what they decided to do. Rather than let things go into the wrong hands or let something bad happen, they just said, let's burn it down. They had already decided that. That was the decision that was past them. And then because of, a lot of people don't know, that I actually worked at 3D Realms, and I actually was a part of Duke 3D, and I have some history there, and so I have some history with George and Scott. And people also might know that we worked with the publisher that owns the publishing rights to Duke Nukem on Borderlands. Like Gearbox and Take-Two and 2K Games worked together on Borderlands, and it's Take-Two and 2K Games that have the publishing rights for Duke Nukem Forever. So
you were kind of mediator between those two parties?
I don't know, not exactly. We kind of just jumped in the middle. Like the first step was George and Scott. Like after there'd been a failure of Take-Two and 3D Realms to figure something out, and they tried, and that failed and turned into lawsuits. What we did was we found ourselves that if we could take the risk, we could actually jump in the middle. They would sell us the game and the brand. We would then be bearing the burden of those lawsuits, and it would be up to us to bring everyone together.
So Gearbox bought the franchise, the code, personnel.
Well, you can't buy people,
of course, but you can offer them to continue working on what they like.
What happened was some of the guys, when they lost their jobs, they didn't just go scatter and get new jobs in the industry. Many people had to. We have to eat, right? So those guys had to do something. But some of them sacrificed a lot so that they could stick together and keep their dream alive. And for those people, like they gave me hope, because they had institutional knowledge, passion, and commitment, and they were doing great. They're incredible guys, great work, and I gave them hope because I represented tolerance with funding and the ability to take a risk and to support them with. I mean, there's 8 guys. There's now over 70 people on the team, right? So like, it takes a lot to ship games, right? They knew they couldn't do all of it on their own. In terms
How many people were there at 3D Realms when the project was canceled?
I think about 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was that the problem, that they were understaffed, that they had to work over years and years without getting money back by actually publishing it?
I think one of the, I wasn't inside, so I don't know. I can't see all the problems. I think that the industry grew over time and evolved in what it takes to make games on on the platforms is different today. But I don't know, because I think that, like, even with the 30 people, you can do enough so that it's clear that there will be success, and then the investment could come. You know, if it's
And
clear,
you add
like,
additional art people and stuff.
yeah. There's a lot of art, and there's a lot of software engineering, and there's a lot of work in multiplayer to create a multiplayer game that never existed. But I don't know. I mean, it must have been tough inside. I think there's because they didn't grow with the industry, I think they didn't know what it took. So, like, they would have discovered that, but they didn't. They weren't at the point where they even could discover that.
It's sort of like a distant lost valley where
yeah.
warrior tribe has been secluded for years and years.
It's interesting, and you go in and you discover these wonderful things that can only emerge from such a kind of secluded kind of culture.
But when you took over, can you approximately tell us how finished the game was? How much was there to do for you? Or was it more like, yeah, we got the franchise and the little logo, but we did everything by ourselves?
No, the game that we're going to play, this is 3D Realms' vision. This is George and Alan, and this is their vision. And that was really important to me. I didn't, if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be here talking about Duke Nukem Forever right now. I'd be talking about some other Duke Nukem thing. We'd have created something else. But for this to be Duke Nukem Forever, it has to be Duke Nukem Forever. So this is their vision. Now, there was a lot of work done.
At Gearbox?
No, a lot of work done before we even got involved. Okay. So there's a huge amount of value there. Now, it's a difficult thing because to answer the question properly, one would be left. I can't answer it accurately in a few minutes. It would take me, because there's so many. It's so complex. But if I were to answer it properly and accurately, the impression one would be left with would be, okay, this is the 3D Realms game, and the value that the guys at 3D Realms and the guys that stuck with it put in was immeasurable and incredible value and great stuff. Having said that, there is a huge amount of effort that came on board once Gearbox got involved, that the game on all the platforms and having multiplayer and being robust and feature complete and being as polished as it is wouldn't be possible without that effort. So that effort is really important too. So it's like the impression we take away is this is 3D Realms' vision and it's their game, but that all the people that are working their butts off right now, if it wasn't for them, we never would have had it.
How do you want to convince people who have heard about Duke Nukem, who had not even started their gaming careers for the most part when the work began? How will you try to convince them?
I don't know that
to buy the game, to play the game.
I don't know that. I mean, this isn't a game I really want to make a lot of promises about. Like, I don't want to go out trying to convince people, because we've all been kind of jerked around so many times. There's a few things that we know, right? We know, first of all, there's a reason why we know about Duke. He's iconic. Even when he's dead, he wasn't allowed to die. The fans kept him alive. It's very interesting, right? And so there's that power there. The game itself, the promise is really cool. I mean, here's a guy you're going to single-handedly save the world. The world's very interesting and different and unique. The gameplay is awesome. It's in the sense that you have like action gameplay, and then you have these kind of environmental obstacles you have to kind of figure out how to get your way through, almost like the pacing of Half-Life, right? And then there's interactivity, and there's secrets, and there's all these things off to the side that make it more fun and enjoyable. So it's got all these things in it, and I think some percentage of people are going to take a bet and try it because they have to, and they're going to tell everybody else what they think.
How bad can it be?
Yeah, right? I mean, so somebody's going to take a bet, and they're going to tell everybody what they experience. And I think it's great. I think it's going to do wonderful. It's great fun. The vision those guys had is unbelievable. It's great fun.
From your point of perspective, is the game on par with new titles in terms of engine, technical issues, or is it rather that it has to live from the inner values, from the Duke?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you can see for yourself. It's a today's game. It is a game. It is a modern game. Now, in that, one cannot do a game like Duke Nukem Forever without significant fan service and homage to the past, right? So you're going to find references to a lot of things that we remember and that were famous for us, but it is a modern game. It has to be. So yeah.
Is there anything special about the multiplayer mode?
Lots of special things. We're not talking about multiplayer quite yet. We kind of have to get past this shock and all that it even exists, and then once we get past that, we'll be able to spend more time talking about multiplayer. And there's some other tricks up our sleeves too that we'll talk about later. But I can't imagine having Duke Nukem Forever without being able to get online with you and like shrink you and step on you. Or yes, I gotta. That's so much fun is to use all these tools and weapons that are very unique to Duke Nukem. And so that of course that's got to be a part of it.
One thing I always wanted to ask someone responsible for Duke Nukem with a game actually coming out. How many people do you think are actually into this iconic figure and take it for real? And how many people love it in a detached, ironic way? What do you think?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure it matters. I mean, as long as we're entertained by it, it's fine. You can take it either way. I think most people see it for what it is, and I think it is Duke's world.
For a stance for
Duke's world is insane.
Okay.
It's a funhouse mirror reflection of our world. It's a topsy-turvy, upside down version of our world. It's like our world, but it's like a caricature of our world, right? It makes fun of our world, and we see that for what it is. But in him in his world, it all makes sense, right? In his world, it makes sense. So they treat it as if, oh yeah, that's just the way things are in their world. But when we look at it through the lens of our world, it's ridiculous. It's funny. It's a caricature, and I think that's part of the fun. It's almost like the game's winking at you the whole time, you know. And I think most people see it for what it is.
You mentioned in the presentation that there is not yet an age rating for the game, neither with PEGI nor with ESRB in the United States. Do you think there will be problems coming from the violence or from showing some tits or trying to show something?
I think it depends on the territory. The answer is yes to both. The game, every once in a while, it's important that in entertainment there's something that comes along that pushes the boundaries. And by doing so, it shows us where the boundaries are, and sometimes can move the boundaries, sometimes push them out or pull them in. Depending on what society and culture decides is right. Duke Nukem is absolutely one of those games that pushes the boundaries. Now, in North America, it's interesting. The violence is just fine. You can blow heads off, and it's just like, yeah, no problem. But the minute you show a nipple, they've got a big problem over there. Meanwhile, in Germany, I think that the challenge is reversed. The sex is mild compared to things we're comfortable with in German society. But the violence can be shocking and disturbing for some people, and they want to kind of hold that down. Now,
so Germans will get a game without the sex and without the violence?
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. I don't think so. I think the Germans will be just fine. These are aliens, after all. Aliens don't have a constituency.
Yes.
So we're able to commit violence on aliens.
But animals have, so.
Yeah. But they're aliens. So we're going to go through that process, and we will understand better what the local governments that are responsible for their citizens have to say about the game, and we'll work with them. We want to be legal, but we want to be fun.
Do you have one favorite phrase of the Duke you like to mention as an exit?
I've got balls of steel.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Nice talking to you.